to hang out.
Coach, great effort by Tommy tonight. Talk about that run that he had.
I'm sorry.
Tommy,
Oh yeah. Tommy was incredible. He really won the game. He won the game for us in the first inning. Comes in, bases loaded, and gets out of that jam, I think, without giving up a run. And he was such a competitive guy. He can execute a pitch at both sides of the plate. The changeup was really good, and you really trust him to be able to pitch in big moments, and he was terrific tonight. So obviously getting him back from injury was a huge shot in the arm for us, and he was terrific.
Nice moment for Cade at the end of the game too.
Yeah, it was terrific, and we were just talking about it in there. But so Cade, I walked through the cage the other day, and Cade's in there on the fastball machine, and it's coming, right? It's probably coming 90 or whatever. Cade's doing a no stride swing, and he's just hammering it like a high RPM no stride. I'm sure he's working after the lefty we saw from Penn State on those things, and I'm just on his own after practice. And I'm like, man, it's really good. And so he gets up, and the first two pitches, he does his little leg lift, and he gets beat. And I just yelled at him. I just yelled, widen out, like go to no stride. And he was like, he kind of shook his head at me, and he widens out no stride and hits the ball down the line. And that's what we were talking about in there. Like I said it so many times, I'll say it again. You show up to work every day because you don't know what day it's going to be that you figured out for the rest of your career. And so if Cade Bunnell is not in the cage working his butt off on a no stride, so that when he needs it against a guy throwing the ball 94 and overpowering him, he's not prepared to go to that. And so I was just really happy for him to step in and be prepared for that moment.
what do you guys learn from games like this? It was a weird start. You came back in the middle, then you gave it up at the end, but you end up with the win.
I think that the biggest thing that we learned from today is that our culture is growing, a culture of toughness and resiliency. Did we play great? No, we didn't play well tonight at all, really in any area outside of Tommy. But the toughness in our competitiveness and our spirit to continue to fight and not sulk, not put our head down, not throw a fit, but to just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. It's not always your best day, but it's always a day for you to compete and fight. And that's where I feel the culture is going. You look at, we've played 4 close games in a row here, and there's always an ebb and flow of offense that comes and it goes. We haven't been terrific, but we won 3 out of those 4 games. In a way that I don't know that earlier in the year we would have, just from our resiliency and our competitiveness. And you see us in a moment where we get an extra inning game that we should have won earlier in the game, very similar as to the Kent State game, and we find a way to get it done. And so that's what I take from this. And do we have work to do? Absolutely. Do I have to do my job better? Absolutely. But you look at it from a culture standpoint, that's what I get excited about, because a culture and an attitude and an environment that the players create, that carries you much further than talent alone does.
I think there was 17 Indiana hitters struck out tonight. I mean, that's obviously got to be something you talk about in terms of approach.
Yeah. You know, I get that was a real frustration for me because we haven't done it in a long time. Yeah, and I just said, listen, guys, like we swung at more balls that were out of the zone than were in the zone. And if there's anything that we do from an offensive standpoint, it's approaches and it's pitch selection and it's swinging at strikes. And we've done a good job of that. We really had for a long time. And we just didn't do that tonight. We expanded the zone with the starter. We had a really good first inning and a half, and we got behind fastball, off fastball timing, ahead of off speed, and the same daggone thing we did against Kent State. We adjusted back to it, and then they went to their arms, and they wanted to win the ball game, and they went to their good arms, and we kind of we just weren't great, and so we have to go back and we have to get better at that. It's kind of the middle of the season where your focus can wander offensively. We've hit a bunch of home runs. I don't know. I don't know what it is. If I could get a bat and go in there and do it, I would love to. But my eligibility is exhausted, so unfortunately. But you know, we've just got to get better. We got to fix those things.
Real quick, Evansville, number 36 RPI. I think it's a big series.
It's a huge series. It's an absolutely huge series, and kudos to them for, they didn't have the year they wanted last year. But you look at their toughness, look at their culture to be able to come back and be an NCAA team right now, and it's going to be a massive challenge for us this weekend. It's 4 games.
What's your first taste?
What did I do?
No, they're playing
Old Town Road, man.
I'm not that funny.
Your first taste of IU versus Purdue, obviously not a Big Ten game, but what does it mean to come away with the win?
It's huge, man. It's huge to me. We had Coach Knight in last weekend. I just thinking about Coach Knight and Coach Katie going head to head, and all those dog fights and those scraps, and tonight was a very hot and high intensity ball game. So it meant a lot to me to win the first one. But what I really wanted us to do, and we talked about beforehand, was to really be grateful, to be able to compete in one of the best rivalries in college sports. How fortunate are we to get to come out on 70-degree night on national television with a couple thousand fans in the ballpark and compete in one of the best rivalries in sports. And so I wanted us to be grateful for that. And at the same time, that's a regional environment, right? It's heated, it's up tempo, it's intense. There's a lot of people, everybody's hollering and yelling on both sides, right? And so you want to be able to prepare yourselves to compete in a postseason environment. And we did that tonight, and we found a way to win the ball game. So that's it's always a positive.
Coach, you got 4 games coming up this weekend, including a doubleheader. That can be pretty taxing on a catcher behind the plate. Who's with Feynman out? Who are you looking to? Maybe if you say Whitecross, something bad, or he's just tired.
Yeah.
Who are you going to?
I was hoping you could strap some gear on and get back.
You do not want to see that.
I've heard good things. Coach Hatfield.
Yes, sir.
Heard some good things. I know we got a couple of guys. Drew Ashley's caught some, and Jake Skrine's caught some. We'll have to kind of take it as it comes, and we've been practicing some different guys back there. But at the same time, look at how far Wyatt's come, right? I mean, look how far Wyatt's come, offensively, defensively, in every way of the game. I've been really, really proud and impressed with Wyatt. What a good young man and a hard worker, and I know he's going to come out and give his best for us this weekend.
All right, thanks, Coach.